See him very much involved in the action out there today. So alongside me, Trevor Francis. Trevor, your thoughts on how this game is going to shape up?
Well, it's interesting to see how Napoli are going to line up. I think that they'll probably leave Correca, the lone player, in a forward position and look to support him from midfield. The emphasis is quite clearly on Inter to come and try and attack. They'll be looking for the 2 points, but I would think in Napoli's case, they'll be very, very satisfied coming to San Siro. Always a difficult place to get a result. They'll be happy with the draw.
Napoli in the all-red strip today. That first defeat of the season. How will they recover from that in this intimidating atmosphere in the San Siro? That's Pescedo, who's been drafted into the starting lineup in place of Padovano then. Ranieri, the coach, leaving Padovano on the bench. Pescedo came on last week and had 1 or 2 impressive moments against Juventus. So he's in his place in the first 11. Here's Bremer, one of the 3 Germans in the Inter side, the engine room of Internazionale. That was Fontelat's pass. Tall, rangy-looking striker there, wearing the number 11 shirt. It's almost like a new signing, having him in the team. He missed all of last season because of injury. That's Berti. Whacked away by Ferrara, the Napoli captain. Bremer's throw towards Klinsmann, who stretched but couldn't quite reach it. And Pescedo able to whack it clear. Alamao wearing 5 for Napoli today. Starting off on the left-hand side, but he patrolled the right a fair amount against Juventus in the second half, certainly. Such a talented player, Alamao. Much will depend on his performance in the central area for Napoli today. Blocked nonchalantly forward. It goes Zola. Dispossessed though by Berti. De Napoli to Pescedo, former Verona player. Alamao. Now Correca, and the whistle's gone. Play held up for free kick to Inter, and a few hearts skipped a beat then.
Yes, you mentioned that Alamao played in a right-sided role last week. I think that role today has been taken by Kripa. I think he'll be doing a holding role there, trying to prevent Bremer from breaking forward on that left-hand side. I think Alamao would be certainly wasted in that role because he's got such good attacking qualities.
Yes, they'll be looking for the positive skills of Alamao today. Kripa, who missed that match through suspension last week. So he's back on the right-hand side. And the shot well saved then. Mateus going on. Galli, well, looks cool enough, doesn't he? Thunderous shot then by Mateus. So dangerous with those forceful runs through from midfield. But Galli equal to it.
There you saw the problem of just playing with 1 up. Correca winning a good ball in the air from the kick-out from Galli. Flicking it on there, but absolutely nobody to get the flick on. He certainly needs much closer support than what he's getting at the moment.
Problem really, Napoli finding the right partner up front for Correca. Used to be Carnevali, of course, and then Silenzi came, but he didn't quite fit the bill. And Padovano hasn't proved the answer yet either. And today, well, they're playing just with Correca right up front, and hoping to push the likes of Alamao and De Napoli through from midfield, and Zola, of course. Now here's Kripa. There's De Napoli. Zola. Napoli swapping their passes well here. Zola just cut out though by Bremer. Now Mateus linking up with his German teammates. Now Bergomi. And Bremer all the way back to Walter Zenga. Zenga still very much the #1 goalkeeper for Italy, although under a bit of pressure from Pagliuca from Sampdoria. And of course at the other end, Gali, the man who was Italy's first choice goalkeeper before Walter Zenga, back in the World Cup of '86. Free kick to Napoli for the foul on Zola. So much resting on his slight frame today. The man they call Marazola, taking over Diego Maradona's mantle, which is no easy task. What have you made of him so far that you've seen of him, Trevor?
Very impressed with him. I felt that it was very, very difficult, as you say, taking over from Maradona. But he looks a great talent. Does his work from deeper areas. You can't really play him as a front player because doesn't have electric pace. But he certainly comes from deep, and he's always a problem, you know, for the opposition to pick him up.
That was Ferrara there for Napoli. Ferrara, current Italian international. Zola hoping that he'll be one soon. The next squad is due to be announced fairly soon by Arrigo Sacchi, the new coach. So it'll be interesting to see if Zola is in the lineup.
It's always interesting, the tactics. You'd have thought perhaps that with Inter, weakened at the back, I would think, without Ferri, the normal sort of player who plays alongside Bergami, very experienced Italian international, that perhaps Napoli would have pushed someone else forward to support Careca. But their intentions are quite clear. They're going to try and get as many players in midfield as possible, and I would think their intentions are to get a draw.
Crippa. Now Zola. Given away though. Down goes Fontelan, and then a crutching tackle by Berti rather. A bad tackle too on Ferrara, and a yellow card for Nicola Berti.
Yes, you can have no complaints about that. It was a bad challenge. Quite rightly, the referee is showing the yellow card. But he is a bit impetuous, isn't he, Berti? We've seen him on a number of occasions. Blows hot and cold. Very talented player, great athlete. But he does seem to get himself regularly involved with referees. It's not the first time we've seen him booked.
Seems to let his enthusiasm get the better of him too many times, really. Berti, very talented player, no question about that. The referee today, incidentally, Piero Ceccarini from Livorno. So Ferrara back in the action, and Napoli, away we go with the free kick. Little flick off that by Zola, very intelligently done. He has some marvellous touches, Zola, but he couldn't get the better of Bremer. One or two unkind bobbles so far. Now Klinsmann turning well. Berti into the game, and that'll be a free kick just outside the penalty area for the foul on Fontelan, who's very much on trial really in this Inter side. They've told him, if you do well, you'll hang on to that number 11 shirt, which of course was worn by Serena last season. He's moved on to Milan. So a real chance here for Inter.
Yes, I wouldn't think Gali's overjoyed at having to face a free kick from that sort of distance. They don't want to be giving too many free kicks away from that area, because we know the threat from Mateus.
Yes, we saw that last season. And Mateus is lining up the free kick. Bianchi was the player just standing in the wall. There is Mateus, and it almost got through. May well have come off Pescedo there. But his shooting power is so venomous, Lothar Matthäus. Absolutely lethal from that sort of range. And here is the European Footballer of the Year, Lothar Matthäus, now taking the corner. So some pressure on the Napoli goal here. He's though by Gali, collecting that one without too much trouble. Very experienced and confident goalkeeper, of course, Gali. 33 years old now. And the most experienced player in the Serie A in Italy. Bremer with a throw then for Inter. Strong early flourish from the home side. Fontelan, it's a good turn. But away from Ferrara, whipping over the cross, and away to safety. 10 minutes gone, no score, but Inter dominating the early stages, as we expected really, with this formation that Napoli have put out. Just the one outright striker. They made their intentions pretty clear. Bremer. Now Bianchi was onside. Now Block just about guarding it back to Gali. It goes Bremer once more. Dispossessed though by De Napoli. Here's Fontelan. And it was Corradini who got a foot in, and then the foul on Cripper. Another yellow card. Anthony Bremer.
I sympathise with Bremer. Quite clearly, good challenge, took the ball. Really, the referee has made a mistake.
Well, the referee, in fairness, had no hesitation at all. To his mind, that was a bad tackle, and he has punished it with a yellow card for Bremer. Now Pashadu. Alamao. Baggio got in well. Here's Mateus. The game being played at quite a pace at the moment. There's Bremer. So dangerous for those long balls that he knocks in. And as you say, Trevor, it's a question really of the likes of Cripper keeping Bremer quiet down that left flank.
Yes, I feel that the Inter side, they rely so much on the three West German players, Bremer, Mateus and Klinsmann. But it's interesting that, was it 5 games played so far, or 6 games played this season? They've only scored 1 goal between them. And that's what I feel is slightly lacking at the moment for the Inter side, a regular supply of goals. That long goal, of course, was scored from Mateus, and that was from the penalty spot.
Yes, Klinsmann yet to score, Bremer yet to score. And Ranieri's team here under the cosh at the moment. Baggio in a midfield role today. They brought in Montinari into the defensive, into the rearguard action. His first taste of Serie A action. Wearing the number 4 shirt, Montinari. As Trevor was saying, Riccardo Ferri out through injury today.
Yes, Enrico has obviously got a high regard for Montinari. He's not a player that I'm familiar with, but when you consider that Battistini, the Italian international himself, who sat on the substitutes bench, could have played at the back for Inter, he obviously rates Montinari very highly.
Well, he had him with his previous club, Lucchese. So he's obviously knows all about him from there. And he's given him his opportunity in the starting lineup. And there he was there with that pass, looking for Fontelan. All read though by Ferrara. Now Zola. Block to Pashadu. Pashadu, who was in the starting lineup for 3 of the first 4 games for Napoli, but then had to settle for a place on the bench. Mateus. This is Bianchi, who's been a very consistent performer for Inter. Bianchi over the past couple of seasons. More than that, really. He was in their championship winning side too. As of course was this man, Walter Zenga. Pashadu finding Alamao. Now what can Pashadu do here? Not too much. Well read then by Montinari, who started confidently. Into throw. 15 minutes into the first half, still Inter 0, Napoli 0. This match featuring two of the teams up there at the top of the table. These pictures coming to you live from the San Siro. Away by Napoli. Crouching challenge by Bianchi. Both teams playing with a lot of vigour, a lot of purpose. Klinsmann, who recently signed this new 4-year contract. After suggesting a short while ago that he was thinking about packing it all in, giving up football altogether. He's had a change of heart.
Can't believe Bertie's reaction there. He's definitely got a problem, hasn't he?
Well, it just doesn't seem to be able to control his temperament. It's a pity, because he is an excellent player. Italian international, of course.
He has to be careful, because as we've seen on many occasions, Italian referees are very, very severe on any form of dissent. It's already been booked.
I think the word will be from the bench for him to calm down a bit. Now, Pochettino. Looking for Alamao, who got forward well, but Bianchi able to clear. There's Corradini, out-jumped though by Klinsmann. Now Mateus. Free kick to Inter. And it is a bit of a testing time for Corrado Orico, the coach of Inter. They've won only one of their last 4 matches. There's a bit of pressure on him from the fans, although I understand the Inter management are standing by him. No question of them having a change of heart at the moment. Orico, of course, following in the footsteps of the great Trapattoni. So, as we were saying with Zola at Maradona, it's a very hard act to follow for Orico. But he intends to do things his way, and he will continue to do so, he says, whatever anybody thinks. He has swapped the team around a little bit, trying to find the right formation. Montanari. There's Bergomi, now then for Bremer. Bergomi, who seems to have lost his place in the national side, at the moment anyway. So maybe there's now a question mark against his excellent international career. Great servant to club and country, Bergomi. Now Correca getting involved with the referee.
Yes, it seems that Bergomi's been around for ages, but still only 27. I think he seems to have been around for ages because he played in the '82 World Cup when he was so young.
Yes, he was an 18-year-old then. But Ferrara is now in the Italian side, the Napoli defender and captain. But as I was saying earlier on, it'll be very interesting to see the lineup that the new coach Saki goes for when the first Italian squad under him is announced. Zola, who's hoping to be in it. Alamao. There's De Napoli, current international. But maybe he'll be one of the players whose place will be under threat. We'll just have to wait to see what's in the mind of Arrigo Sacchi. Alamao's cross, only Correca in there though.
Wasn't a bad cross either. Just fortunate that they just have the one player there, Correca. Need to get more bodies into the penalty box. That always seems to be the way in Italy. You look at sides and you think, well, you know, they must keep getting players forward into those areas, but they never seem to arrive.
Bremer's throw, combining with Mateus. Baggio. He was lucky to get that one back again. Baggio got his first goal for his new club at Canary last season, last Sunday rather. Here's Bianchi now. point in the first half. Not really too many chances so far. A lot of fairly frenetic action out there.
I feel that Inter are having a problem with the formation that Napoli are playing. They've swapped the midfield, and the emphasis is on Inter to try and get some of their back players forward. The likes of Paganini and Bremer in full-back positions, they've got to try and push on a little bit, try and give the midfield a little bit more support. At the moment, they're continually playing with 4 at the back. It's not easy for the Inter midfield. They are being outnumbered.
Napoli, who've had to rebuild the side, of course, without Diego Maradona. And they had a fair run towards the end of last season, and they've continued in that vein. But it was a clear setback for them last week, losing at home to Juventus. So they're pretty desperate to pick up at least a point today. Berti. There's De Napoli. Now then to Pochedo. Montanari. It was a very casual pass sent by Montanari. Bremer claiming the ball didn't cross the line, but whether good or not, I don't think he'll have been too pleased with the pass anyway from Montanari, who was exuding confidence early on, but let himself down then. His first game, remember, in the senior side, indeed in Serie A. First game that he started anyway. Zola. Fontelan got a foot hit no first. Now Berti riding the tackles with that long, loping, familiar stride of his. Now Bianchi. Berti's pulled into the middle. Oh, Bianchi's pulled up. It looks like a hamstring.
Yes, quite clearly is a hamstring there. That is the problem. He'll take no further part in this game.
Well, that was quite dramatic then. Bianchi just went in to seem to be in full flow too. They got 2 or 3 waiting on a cross from Bianchi, and he suddenly held back then in obvious pain. And it does indeed look like a hamstring. So a problem here for Inter. We've got Desideri, a former Roma player, on the bench. So maybe they'll think about using him as a replacement, if indeed Bianchi can't carry on. And it does look a rather nasty injury for him. The way he suddenly pulled up then, and there's Bianchi getting a warm round of applause from the crowd. He's featured so prominently for Inter in recent seasons, as I was saying earlier on, and they could ill afford to lose him with his persistence on the right flank. And the referee just waiting for Desideri, indeed it is, to make his entrance. So all sympathies are with Bianchi. And on comes Stagione, who's in fact scored 3 times since joining Inter at the start of the season. So he's the leading goal scorer. But he can't get in the starting lineup, which may be a bit of a surprise, Trevor.
Yes, I was surprised that he wasn't starting. Just wondering if Enrico was going to be brave enough to actually make a tactical change, because it's quite clear that he was having problems with the formation that Napoli had adopted. I don't know how much it'll change things now. Obviously, they've got an extra midfield player now in the central area, but they're still lacking a little bit of width that Bianchi gives them. I think it's up to Paganini to try and press forward as often as he can.
Now this is Pochedo pressing forward for Napoli. Too long though for Zola, but here's Crippa. And Napoli have ushered players forward here in this attack. Bremer almost turned back into trouble. And then we're free kick to Inter for the tackle on Bremer. 45 minutes into the first half. No goals. Inter having lost a player in Bianchi. Desideri wearing 14 certainly has taken up a position in the central midfield area, which is where he plays normally, and did so to good effect for Roma too before his move to Inter. So he was a useful signing. Zola and Paganin taking no chances. Spectacular overhead kick in by Zola. It was full of tricks, full of surprises. De Napoli now. Here's Alamao. And no problem for Zinga. The flag was up anyway. And a wake-up Inter with Mateus, the playmaker. Well caught in possession then by Corradini, who was a pretty fearsome tackler. Gets through a lot of hard work for Napoli, Corradini. And Montinari with a robust challenge on Careca.
Yes, and Mateus, I think, just thanking him there for that tackle, because he put him in a little bit of trouble. Just a little bit too casual there. Faced against 2 against 1. Lost possession in the wrong area.
Corradini's pass, and Pacheco had strayed offside. But having weathered that early storm, maybe Napoli now are beginning to show some confidence themselves. But no question, they've come here thinking that a point would suit them. An extra one would be a real bonus. Just 1 point at the top of the table, remember, dividing the first 6 teams before the start of the latest round of matches today. Fontelan, they all had a go at him. Now Bremer with the free kick. Here's Pacheco. And Alamao. All the way back to his goalkeeper, Galli. Galli, who won so many honours, of course, with Milan. Pacheco springing onto the return pass, and I think that was out of play then. Inter hoping this season to repeat their championship success of '89, when Trapattoni was in charge. Napoli, of course, have won 2 titles in recent seasons. Indeed, they succeeded Inter as the title holders back in 1990.
A little bit disappointed this afternoon, the level of skill. Such normally high standards with Italian league games. I think possibly the pitch is playing a part in it. Doesn't seem to be too flat, 1 or 2 uneven bounces. But the standards are still normally very, very high. A bit disappointed this afternoon, Peter.
Yeah, I think I'll go along with that so far. But there do seem to be some uneven bounces on the surface, which has had its problems in the past. And of course, it's a very competitive game out there. 2 totally committed teams, desperate to maintain their challenge at the top of the table. Here's Mateus now. Half an hour gone in the first half. Mateus with the free kick. looking for Berti. It was Pescedo who thumped it clear. Bergomi.
That was the type of long ball last season that Mateus was looking for Serena. I just feel that they miss his height and heading ability in forward positions. They've linked Fontelan with Klinsmann. Doesn't really seem to be the answer. They also bought, of course, Ciocci, who can't get a regular starting position. He's only on the bench. They've let Serena move on. Just wondering if they come to regret that now.
Yes, the aerial passage to goal was so often a threat for Inter when Serena was playing for them. Not only a goal scorer, a prolific scorer too, he was a goal maker. All the knockdowns for the players coming through, and indeed for Klinsmann. Of course, Klinsmann, as we mentioned earlier on, Trevor, hasn't scored yet, so maybe that underlines the point. Anyway, here's Desideri now, and he has scored 3 times for Inter this season. Well, that won't trouble the goalkeeper of Gali's class. Now Zola, trying to get something started for Napoli here. Corradini's return pass left him with a lot to do, though. Alamao, cleverly done, till he ran into Fontelan. But it's been untidy in patches, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, just look how many players Inter have got in defensive areas. In the radius of 10 yards there, they had 5 defenders.
Klinsmann racing on to this one. He has tremendous pace, of course, Klinsmann. But outwitted by Pescedo. Now to Napoli. Pescedo. Only Correca, though, as a target man. I don't think he'll get away from Bergomi. But again, they're crowding that midfield area, Napoli, and leaving really no support for Correca. Zenga so far has had relatively little to do. No foul, is it? Yes, the referee's given it now for the challenge on Ferraro. So Claudio Ranieri hoping his team can press home the advantage they've got from this free kick now. Zola is there, but leaving it for Pescedo to take. And Zenga had to beat it away. All eyes were on the players waiting in the middle, and Pescedo really extended Zenga then. Now Fontelan. Klinsmann was just onside. But shot whipped in by Klinsmann, and Gali couldn't hold it. So suddenly both goalkeepers occupied in the space of 60 seconds or so. Corner then to enter. Desideri to take the kick. Alamao as Napoli spring quickly out of defence. Correca now. 3 streaming through the middle. But De Napoli has to go a long way to fetch the pass. Pescedo. Given away by Baggio. Now Zola. And Zenga, well, just about holding on. But a very consistent goalkeeper, of course, Walter Zenga. Pescedo. 10 minutes of the first half to go. Alamao. Napoli looking to raise their game here. Zola with Pacheco. Zola just needed a chuck, shouldn't get it. And Montanari will guide the ball back to Zenga. Inter, whose only defeat so far was away to Sampdoria, but a pretty heavy one. They lost 4-0. So both sides with just a one defeat in Serie A so far in this campaign. And just looking at the top of the table, Trevor, it is very, very tight up there, isn't it?
Yes, not too many points separate the top 8 teams. In fact, Parma, who are in 8th position, just 2 points below Milan. But of course, playing at Bari today.
And that'll go away for a corner. Yes, and of course, just below Parma, Sampdoria. And I think we can expect that to reassert themselves after 1 or 2 setbacks for them. Desideri taking the corner, Fontalan, and was taken off the head of Bergamy then by goalkeeper Galli. Only Correca to aim at up front. And it's so hard for Correca today in that lone role, ploughing a lone furrow. Very little support. Now Betty going on here. Klinsmann. Down he goes, and the referee just turned away. In fairness, there were no protests from the Inter players, only from the crowd. But Napoli a little fortunate to survive then. Tempers getting a little heated up there. Alamao. Now De Napoli. There's Pacheco. Finding De Napoli, who was left out of the side on the opening day of the season, but he's back in there now. So even being an international doesn't guarantee you an automatic choice. Bremer to tidy up for Inter. This is Paganin. Excellent control then by Klinsmann. Outnumbered in the end though. And well run back. Klinsmann. There's Correca. Misunderstanding though with Cripper. Free kick to Inter. Take it quickly, Desideri. Tremendous noise around the stadium. The supporters of Inter doing their best to lift their team. The fans who've travelled up from Naples hoping to do the same with theirs. De Napoli now. There's Alamao. But he was crowded out, and Fontalan getting back well. Pagani, Desideri rather. There's Pagani now. Vigorous challenge this time. It'll be a free kick to Inter. Foul by Blanc, a French international defender, Napoli. That's what you call close marking.
Yes, and the defender then complains to the referee. This is given a free kick.
Well, Fontelan is back on his feet. And Trevor Francis knows what it's like to receive that sort of attention from defenders who don't want you to have the ball. Mateos curled in. The header rushing wide there. Klinsmann was very unlucky. And he must have thought then he'd scored his first goal of the season. The German combination very nearly producing a goal. Kareka. Well, that's great skill then by Kareka. Just too many of them in the end. Now, Mateos galloping away, taking on Francini, and he's got clear. Gali had to save with his legs. Superb run then though by Mateos. Reminding us just why he's regarded as a top player in Europe, maybe the world too. Great run, Trevor.
Yes, that's the highlight of the first half. Terrific positive run from Mateos. Put the ball around Francini, went past him for pace. I think he must have thought twice about actually falling over to try and get the penalty, but he kept his feet. And it was Gali actually who thwarted him, stopping the ball with his foot. But a good positive run from Mateos, and that's probably the nearest Inter have been to scoring.
3 minutes to go in the first half, and Mateos, the closest really then to a breakthrough for Inter. Denied by the experience of Gali, who stood his ground, perfectly positioned. But Napoli hanging on. It's a foul then by Berti, who I'm sure will contest it, he normally does. Referee just walking away. Here's Berti. Yeah, I thought so. He didn't agree.
It's terribly frustrating for players in the penalty box because the slightest bit of physical contact, the referee immediately gives a free kick.
Pochettino. Alamao. There's Kareka. Lost out though. Zola can't win it back. And here's Fontelan. Bremer. Now Berti. Got away from the first tackle. But in general, in this first half, defences have been on top. Certainly neither side slow to reinforce their defences by pulling players back. And it's a game that hasn't really flowed so far, Trevor.
No, it's difficult, isn't it? Because Napoli have come to nullify the Inter midfield by putting so many numbers there. They're not really looking to win the game. Instead of Inter want to win it, they've got to come and try and attack and try and score goals and then create one or two spaces at the back so that Napoli can capitalise on it. But really, it's been a very poor first half.
Well, there's Mateos.
Just wondering if Enrico, the Inter manager, would do anything half-time to try and change things. He's got Ciocci on the bench. I think it would certainly help the likes of Fontelan and Klinsmann if they would have given him a little bit more support with Ciocci.
It certainly hasn't helped, of course, losing Bianchi, who does give into width on the right. But here's Mateos now. Gali having to fist it away. The last few seconds of the first half. Fontelan was onside. But Gali's handling has been excellent in the first half. Very reassuring last line of defence for Napoli.
His footwork wasn't too bad either when he stopped that one from Mateos.
Absolutely. Lazio caught into possession. I think it was fouled anyway by Corradini. So we're into time added on for injuries. And there was a delay, of course, in particular for the injury to Bianchi. Another free kick. And the first half has been littered with them. Foul on Fontaine. Hoping to prove himself in Inter side.
So congested in the centre of the field. Inter have got to try and get a little bit more width. As you say, they're unfortunate they don't have Bianchi. They must try and get Bremer and Paganini into the area where he is now a lot more often.
Well, there is Paganini indeed with the cross. Too many Napoli defenders back there to make any real impact. And that'll be a free kick. As the referee brings play back. Kripa. Here's Zola. Hasn't had too many opportunities to show his undoubted skill, Zola. De Napoli in that congested midfield area. Zola threading it on to Alabao. But the danger quickly passes. We've had now approaching 2 minutes of injury time. Here's Desideri. Straight to block. Now Kripa spreading the play well. And his block going forward. And he certainly has an eye for goal. Block with 14 for Montpellier last season in the French league. Indeed, he was the top scorer for his club. Hasn't scored yet though for Napoli. Alabao. Now Kripa. Zola on for Kripa. Bergomi with a clattering tackle. So the first half almost over, Trevor. Just to sum up your feelings on the first 45 minutes.
A bit disappointing, really. It's only to be expected because of the tactics that Napoli have adopted. I think the emphasis on Inter now to try and change things a little bit. And I would like to see Enrico try and be a little bit more adventurous. Yeah, he must try and win this game, and I think if he was to bring Ciocci on, it would certainly help matters.
Thanks, Trevor. So no goals in the first half. Cesarini, who had his work cut out really in the first 45 minutes, keeping a check on things. One or two rather ragged tackles that he had to deal with. But we haven't had a goal yet. Mateus certainly coming the closest for Inter. A couple of strikes, and that, including that superb run of his. And it was Galli to the rescue for Napoli, who themselves haven't created too much to bother Zenga at the other end. Shadow perhaps really the closest to scoring a goal for Napoli with that free kick. That might just have caught Zenga out. Alabao down for Zola. Off goes Klinsmann, herring after this one with Franchini. Alabao. And Montanari's clearance came back off the Brazilian. But I wouldn't think, Trevor, we're going to see any change of style, any change of tactics really from Napoli.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. I think it's, you know, at the top of the programme, we spoke about, you know, perhaps Boskov losing his job at Sampdoria, which incidentally I don't think will happen because having worked for Mantovani, the president, he's a very, very loyal man. There's no way that will happen. But it's a fear factor in Italy. The problem is, like Ranieri, his team lost last week against Juventus at home. He's frightened of losing 2 in succession. And that's why he's come here with such a defensive approach to this game, playing with just Careca in a forward position.
Well, here's Berti now for Inter. Block coolly away. He does look a very composed figure, Block. Might have Michel Platini's much revitalised French team, of course, who've qualified for the European Championship finals. Kripa with Zola. Neat skill there. Now Kripa. Only Koreka in there, inevitably. There's just no support for it. It arrives now, though, in the shape of Alamau, and he's given away to Mateus. Now Inter driving forward with Berti and Fontelan. And that's a foul by Ferrara. What have you made of Fontelan so far, Trevor?
Well, it's so difficult to judge, isn't it? Because they're left isolated in forward positions. They don't get enough close support to them. You know it.
Another yellow card to Napoli.
Just say, as we've seen so many times in Italian football, all of a sudden, like, you know, he can turn on a bit of magic, score an outstanding goal, and he becomes the man of the match. So I don't think you can actually write him off at this moment, but I do feel he needs a little bit more support.
Well, De Napoli talked himself into the referee's book, and I think if he'd continued that argument much more, he might have been sent off. Spot of dissent from De Napoli has earned him the yellow card. And here's Bremer then with the free kick for Inter. Now Mateus did so well that to withstand the tackle from Zola. Now Fontelan saved and can't turn it in. Berti. Zingers all over the place. The whistle's gone. Whistle's gone.
The agony of Berti, but I think he realises that it was out.
He knew. Forced wide, and the whistle had gone by then before Berti turned it in. But it was Gali who once more kept Napoli in this match. Another excellent stop by him, with players from Inter converging on him. Shadu in trouble now. Now the play's going on without him. Got a kick there from Paganin. And now play has been held up. And Shadu can receive some attention.
Just returning to Fontelan, I would think that perhaps one or two keen Inter supporters would be a bit disappointed in his performance, taking into account, of course, that they paid £3 million for him from Genoa. You could say that for a player costing that much, you expect a little bit more.
Now Pochettino is okay to continue. He's been around the top two divisions, Pochettino. This is his 8th club in the top two flights. Helping Verona to promotion last season. Now Blanc.
I think Verona could do with him this season, Peter, the start they've made.
Gripper's pass. Yes, Verona down there, what, 4th to bottom at the moment.
Yes, and losing at half-time against Lazio.
Now Bremer trying to combine with Fontelan. There's Mateus now. Mateus going on. Mateus for the shot. And Gali once more was there. And Gali's role is increasingly becoming more and more significant in this game. Berti. Was hit by Klinsmann to Fontelan. Well, he hasn't scored yet for Inter, but my word, he nearly did that. Must have heard you talking about him.
Yes, I just had a little smile because I think 2 minutes ago I said he could do something absolutely outstanding and be the man of the match. That was a cracking volley. Fortunately, just couldn't keep it down.
Well, he almost became the hero of one half of Milan then, the Inter half. But it was not to be, and Napoli are still in there fighting. Careca. He has such outstanding close control, Careca. De Napoli, Alamao. Always a threat that Napoli might pinch one on the break. And Zenga made that one look easy. Klinsmann. No joy though for him on that occasion. And there's Blanc. The early ball in search of Alamao.
Just prior to that effort from Fontelan, we saw once again a great driving run from Mateus. Went for the 1-2, received it, got in a good shot. It's a good save from Gali. If ever a player deserves to score this afternoon, it's Mateus. He's been quite outstanding in the midfield for Inter.
There's no question at all, when the three Germans are firing on all cylinders for Inter, they can be a very, very effective side. There's Klinsmann. Now then with Berti. Crippa. Had an excellent match, Crippa, for the Italians in their goalless draw against the Soviet Union. Such a disappointing overall night for them. There's Careca trying to force an opening.
Trying to force an opening, but as he was dribbling the ball there, his angle was getting worse and worse, and really, from that sort of angle, you can't hope to score.
Well, he's managed 4 goals, Careca, in this early part of the season, but only 9 in the last campaign. I think that's the first time he's failed to reach double figures since coming to Italy. And of course, he has been a major force for Napoli in their triumphs of recent seasons. 2 championships and the UEFA Cup too. And indeed, they were the last Italian side to achieve the League and Cup double, Napoli, back in '87. Well, sort that one out. Franchini, the Napoli player. And Klinsmann got a foot in the face then. Well, Klinsmann's okay, but Franchini, who certainly went crashing down, wants some treatment there.
Yes, I think Klinsmann turned blindly, unaware of Franchini. Quite accidental, I would have thought, Peter, but it appears that Franchini's come worse off.
Yes, another problem for the coach, Claudio Ranieri, former Cagliari coach, who took over from Albertino Bigon. Ten minutes into the second half. And Napoli just giving the ball back in the traditional sporting fashion to Inter. De Napoli with Crippa. Good tackling back then by Baggio. Baggio, who came from Torino back in the summer. In fact, is on loan from Juventus, part of the Trapattoni deal. Now Blanc with Pacheco. And he had Alamao stretching, and he looked daggers then at Pacheco for the pass, which didn't give him too much chance. Fontelan trying to turn away from Corradini. There's no time really for anyone to settle on the ball, no time to dwell on it at all.
You're quite right, there's a lot of early pressing, but I think the passing has not been of such a standard that we expect. saw there Baggio, just a simple 20-yard ball to Desideri. Played a little bit too far in front of him. Saw the ball just tamely go out for a throw-in.
Even Mateus there making a mess of his forward pass. A player normally so accurate, of course, with his distribution. Mateus went down there. A little tap on the ankles. And Corradini is going to have his name taken now. And Mateus felt the full brunt of that tackle then from Corradini, who followed right through. And in fairness to Mateus, some players, Trevor, do make a meal of it, but I think that was fair enough. He caught him there.
Yes, but really a silly booking, because in the centre of the field like that, Mateus is going nowhere, just laying the ball off. A real silly booking, unnecessary.
Desideri with a free kick. Very strange. Now Mateus feeding Klinsmann. Now, does he have the pace here to get away from those Napoli defenders? No, not this time, but he's won the throw. Block to Alamao. Now Corradini, who's just received then the yellow card, but now has been awarded the free kick. Zola. Now then to De Napoli with Correca. Here's Cripper. Napoli still not committing too many players forward in this attack. Maybe just as well. They could get caught here by the pace of Klinsmann. Bremer on then for Klinsmann, who'd got clear. And Block was very composed as he made that interception. He always looks totally unruffled, doesn't he, Block?
Yes, I was just wondering when he was going to appear there, because it looked for one moment that it was very, very bad defending from Napoli. Klinsmann found himself in a bit of space. He arrived just at the right moment.
Well, I suppose all the great defenders put it down to timing. And Blanc knew exactly what he was doing then. Desideri with Klinsmann. There's Pashadu.
Once again there we saw the ball played forward to Klinsmann. Very, very poor first touch.
Well, we've mentioned the surface not being too clever. Maybe it's worse out there than we think. Certainly there has been some untidy play from both teams. Baggio trying to find Fontelan. There's Blanc. We've said it many times before, I'll say it again, it's a game that needs a goal. Certainly needs a spark of life from somewhere. A little bit more imagination from the players. If either team really are to break this deadlock here. On from Correca, but as ever, he's a lone figure really. Now, Baggio. Again, it was a clumsy pass from Baggio. Foul on Zola.
And if you caught there, Di Napoli trying to urge his defenders to push forward from the back. I don't know if his manager Ranieri will be too pleased with that. I think if they get the 0-0, which he's come for, he'll be absolutely delighted. Nothing worse than Italy losing 2 games in succession.
Yes, it will cost you your job.
It makes life very, very uncomfortable for a week. It's almost a crisis, 2 games, losing 2 on the trot.
With some teams giving away a corner's a crisis. Paganin. Trevor Francis is going to have a good week, though. His team won, of course, Sheffield Wednesday, beating Manchester United, no less, at Hillsborough. And I think you're pretty proud of that performance, Trevor.
Yes, it'll be a better week next week if we beat Southampton on Wednesday in the Cup and then Spurs in the league on Saturday.
That'll suit you nicely. Well, neither team look like winning this one at the moment. Inter 0, Napoli 0. 2 of the top teams in Serie A, but they haven't really produced football of the highest quality, one has to say. Bremer, the crowd certainly becoming a little restless. Understandably so. Another slip, Paganin. Zola for Napoli. Now Zola. Ferreira. Napoli. Zola running one tackle and then appeared to be balked.
No, I don't think so. I think that was a good decision by the referee. Quite clearly, Zola had overplayed the ball, decided that he'd run into Bergami and try and get the free kick. The referee was aware of that.
He's had a good match, the referee. He's kept play going whenever he can, but he's certainly had to put it up on quite a few occasions for silly tackles, silly fouls given away by both teams. Bremer. Kripa. Now Correco's come deep. Prashadu, very optimistic from there. And there was a meaty collision, but fortunately both players straight back on their feet again. Now Klinsmann with Baggio, and that was well read again then by Block. Very phlegmatic figure at the back for Napoli. He's certainly been a successful signing, the 3rd foreign player, of course, along with 2 Brazilians, Careca and Alamao. Block taking over from Maradona. Now Mateus, again driving through the midfield. It's Fontelan, flags up. Offside. That must have been close.
Yes, but I think that Mateus would be very, very annoyed with Fontelan there. He's made a good driving run through the centre. He was always looking to pass it to Fontelan. Really, he should be looking along the line to try and stay onside. It was a good situation there for Inter, and really Fontelan should have allowed it to have got himself offside. But once again, at the heart of the movement was Mateus.
Yes, he's the one player who really has impressed again out there. Some sloppy play around him. And Mateus rising above it all at times with some superb play, driving through from the midfield. But another opportunity has gone for Inter, and you wonder how many more they're going to be allowed by a Napoli side who've set their stall out to defend, really. Soak up the pressure, and maybe, just maybe, catch Inter on the rare breakaways that they manage. Bremer. This is Montanari, who hasn't done badly on his first full game in the side. But the crowd whistling now. They want Inter to push forward and to further extend Napoli. Mateus searching out Fontelan, and Block was very casual then. Well, I praise him for his coolness, but he was too cool then. Galli won't thank him for it. Corradini. Here's Bremer. Now Baggio to Bremer. So often into profit from his crosses from this left flank. They got the other way now. Paganini. Now what can Baggio do here? Faced by a packed Napoli defence, a wall of red-shirted defenders. And that's Ferrara, not really getting clear. And Berti might have made more of that if he'd been able to control it. Wasn't the best of clearances from Ferrara. De Napoli. Now, here's an opportunity for Napoli. Zola leading the charge. He's got Alamao inside him, and Pescedo away to his left. Still Zola. On the right here is Cripper. Good tackle though by Bremer. Now can they stretch Napoli here? Not like that they won't. De Napoli doing well. It was an important interception by him. Zola. Blanc had started to make a run through from the back, but thought better of it. He's gone back. Careca now with Zola. Too easily broken up though. But then Alamao wins it back. Good tackle then. Montanari. Down he goes. No foul. And I think the referee was absolutely right again. Ask Trevor what he thought in a moment. But here's Alamao. Too long for Zola. And a fall here for Cripper. Zenga's furious. And he didn't worry as the shot went harmlessly wide. And Ranieri's team making a rare excursion forward then in numbers. But Inter thought they deserved a free kick.
No, there's nothing wrong with the challenge. Montanari was too slow in his delivery. He had a player on the outside of him. He should have delivered it much quicker, held on to it and invited the tackle. It was a good challenge.
Shedu. Outsmarted though by Paganini. Klinsmann. That's a foul. That was a pretty awful tackle by Corradini, who's had a yellow card. And if they'd stop protesting, maybe the referee could have a word with Corradini. And what about that challenge then, Trevor? Whistle's gone. Berti pleads his innocence.
Well, quite clearly the Inter players are protesting because, as you say, he's already been booked, Corradini, and they're trying to get him sent off. That's not something I like to see. I think that it was a bad foul, but you don't like to see a player like that getting sent off.
Mateus now, a shooting opportunity almost opened up for him. Well, it's a corner. It could have been more serious. And he continues to be a constant thorn in Napoli's flesh. In fact, it's a goal kick.
Yes, Mateus totally frustrated there because it was a good shot with the outside of his foot. Don't know whether it was going in, but from the reaction from Mateus, it appeared to be on target. It was his own player Berti that blocked it.
Now Klinsmann turning away from Franchini. Pescedo, foot was high then from Paganini. And the two players sportingly just shaking hands out of your picture there. But now Cripper. Di Napoli.
It's okay, Paganini sportingly shaking hands, but if Napoli had raced through there and scored, I don't think Orico would have been too pleased with him.
Fair point, fair point.
You can shake hands after the game.
Montanari. This is Baggio. Asking a lot of Klinsmann, but we have seen what acceleration he has. And it was certainly a test for Franchini, the Napoli defender. Paganini. Doesn't seem comfortable when he's got time to play the ball, Paganini. I think the crowd sense it too. Bremer was so quickly closed down then by Zola. And there's a break on here for Napoli. Now Zola might have made more of that. Disappointing finish to a promising run.
Yes, Kripa made a great, what must have been 50-yard run to get into a good position. Zola delayed it. Really, it was a good opportunity lost there for Napoli.
Desideri, Berti, and just nipped off his toes then by Franchini. What an important tackle. Away goes Pescedo. Berti thought he was in at the other end.
He would have been in if his first touch was better. That was a great goal-scoring chance there. He needed close control on his first touch, and then his second touch would have set him up for the shot.
Yeah, I'd have fancied T. Francis in his prime to have scored that one. Well, even now, sorry.
I don't know about scored it, but I definitely would have controlled it.
Right. Berti racing clear. Now Mateus sliding into the path of Klinsmann, who was trying to shake off the attentions of his marker, and to his bitter disappointment, the free kick's given the other way, but he was backing off him then. Correca. Pescedo. Now Kripa, who's worked tirelessly in the midfield area for Napoli. There's Bergami now, just hoisting it forward. Mateus. Did well then, Mateus, to control the ball and find Bremer. The mark of a master craftsman. Klinsmann, terrific turn! He's beginning to look more and more dangerous now, Klinsmann.
Oh, I saw it lucky there. Made a great forward run down into the channel, received the ball, turned his marker well, made the opening. Desperately unlucky that his shot was blocked. That was on his way into the net.
And the crowd beginning now to feel that this is a good spell for Inter, and one that might just produce a goal for them. Mateus will take the corner. Gali frantically organising the racks ahead of him. The Napoli goalkeeper. That was Pescedo who headed clear there. Now Mateus. Free header away, not a very good one though, only as far as Desideri. And that needs no comment from me. Paganini, the offender, which is all you could call him there really. It's a dreadful shot. And he has looked unhappy, hasn't he, when he's had time.
Yes, he's a player that I know quite well because in my early days at Sampdoria, he was just a young player starting his career there. Played against him many times, he was in the reserves. And you're quite right, his feet, he's not blessed with great ability, I think it's fair to say. And what Napoli have done this afternoon is they've allowed him to have plenty of the ball. They've prevented Bremer from getting forward. Krippers has gone very, very tight on Bremer. And it's really suited Napoli, allowing Paganini to have the ball.
Now Berti, well, he was herring through and he just couldn't control it. And there's so much frustration among the Inter fans, among the players and the coaching staff as the opportunities start to come their way and they just can't take advantage. And it's just not falling right for Berti, is it?
Well, you could possibly say that, but you know, I thought that was a good chance there. He's made a good, determined run, played his way through 2 or 3 defenders, got himself into a great goal-scoring position. Then, as far as I'm concerned, he just completely miskicked the ball. I think it was a lack of balance, to be honest. He was a little bit off balance, and he lost the opportunity.
Yes, that's what I mean, really, by not going his way. I mean, you make your own luck to a certain extent, and he has certainly had chances, Berti, and his controls let him down. There he goes again. He does create danger, and he does unsettle defenders, because he does go through at such pace.
Yes, I feel that any player who continually makes runs from midfield like he does, they're always going to be a threat. They're very, very difficult to man mark. He's a good athlete, makes some big surging runs into the box. It's a pity, really, that his control's not a bit better, because if he had that, he would become really an outstanding player. He's still a very, very good player. He's just lacking that little bit of technical ability.
Mateus, he was caught in possession then. Maybe didn't get a call from a teammate, which he would have liked. De Napoli for Napoli. Here's Mateus once more. Now then to Fontalan. The tackle though by Ferrara. Bergomi, the captain of Inter. This is Montanari. Desideri nicking up with Baggio. Napoli once more having to backpedal. Desideri, who does possess an excellent shot. But this time, Galli, well, he'll tell you had it fully covered. I don't know what he's saying. Probably don't let them score.
No, he's shedding Correca to get back in defence.
Your Italian's better than mine.
That's the one thing about Italian football. It doesn't matter how you play. I mean, Napoli's performance hasn't been particularly inspiring, but if they were to get a 0-0, it would be regarded in Naples as an outstanding performance.
Yep, that's the point. That's the way Napoli have set out to play this one. Klinsmann trying to guide it on. Poor old Correca, the Brazilian. I mean, he can't enjoy games like this where he's completely left on his own. I mean, you must have had it too on occasion. It's very, very difficult for a striker, even a player of his class and quality, when there's no support, really. In fact, just for once there, Alamao was ahead of him, and that's a very rare occasion. Ten minutes left. Still no goals in the San Siro.
And still no Ciocci. I really felt that the Italian manager, or the Inter manager, sorry, Enrico would have introduced Ciocci before now.
Yes, there's no sign of another change being made. He had to make that substitution in the first half, of course, when Bianchi went off and Desideri came on. De Napoli to take the free kick. Well, Mateus gives it away. Now Bremer. Bergomi. Inter seeking some inspiration from somewhere to prize this extra point away from Napoli. Block. Kripper, who's such a determined little player, ran straight into Bremer. Now Alamao. Zola. And the warning signals were out then for Inter as Zola made progress into the penalty box.
Yes, you feel that if he was to get nearer to the penalty box, he would start to cause one or two problems because he's got such good, tight, close control.
Alamao. It was a ferocious tackle, which he certainly made look pretty awful. And I don't think the referee was too convinced. Certainly knew it was a foul, but maybe didn't like the theatrical dive of Alamao. But here's a test for Zenga in the Inter goal. It's Ferrara there, just taking some refreshment, while Alamao receives some treatment. Zola is there, and we know what he can do from set pieces. Five-six in the war for Inter. And it's a corner. Pachedo's shot. Pachedo, whose main contribution really has been in a defensive role, with Napoli only playing the one up front. Zola, plenty of time for Bremer. And that, to me, Trevor, has been the disappointment today, that the likes of Alamao and Zola, the really skillful, talented players, we just haven't seen too much of them in a positive role.
No, you're quite right, and that tends to happen in Italy. It's all because of the result last week.
Klinsmann, now Betty! Oh, he's taken it too far. The crowd howling their disapproval, and Betty, he'll be so disenchanted with himself. And that just about sums up his afternoon.
It does really. It's that first touch again, isn't it, Peter, that I was on about? He lets him down on so many occasions. That was another good situation.
Well, that was as good as any he's had, really, Berti, and he's had quite a few. Off he goes again. Magnificent leap, and the referee turns away. And Berti, when he's discovered the referee is paying no attention, may get up, but no, he says he wants someone to have a look at that. But he could have been a match winner so easily for Inter today, Berti. Their international midfielder, who's so often come loping through the middle, but he's been unable to finish it off. But you were saying, Trevor, about the likes of Alamao and Zola, who really just haven't been able to contribute in the way we'd like to have seen from them, but it does happen a lot in Italy. Let's just stay with this attack here.
No, it's because of the result last week. Napoli weren't expected to lose at home to Juventus, and he's put them under extreme pressure. Can't lose two on the trot, so they come with a very, very defensive formation.
Well, they still might lose. Bremer's throw, Fontelan, and there's Cripper covering, and he's covered so much ground, Cripper, in this match today. Just caught that by Bremer.
Don't be surprised in the next couple of minutes either that Napoli bring on another defender.
Zola. Careca. It's a glorious little reverse pass then into Alamao, who's suddenly in the clear. Alamao! That's an own goal! Off Bergomi. No, the flag's up. Oh, he looks so disappointed. The coach, Ranieri. Or has he given it? Well, there's some confusion here. No, it wasn't given. But just for a moment then. I wonder whether the referee had overruled the linesman. But no, with 4 minutes left, it stays at 0-0. Fontelan. Good block then by Block. What a let-off, though, for Inter. As Alamao almost caught them out. Bergamy, bit of a sloppy pass from him. Well, we're looking today, Trevor, at two teams who have their sights set on the title. Do you think we're watching a championship team in either Inter or Napoli today?
Well, I would never make a judgment on just one game, but I think that the two sides are probably good enough to qualify for the UEFA Cup, but I don't really see them as being serious championship contenders.
Cripper onto Alamao's pass. Perfectly timed tackle, though, by Bremer. There's still time for either team to clinch the extra point. Bremer. Fontaine, policed by Ferrara. He's in a pretty steady game, Ferrara. Certainly one of the best defenders in the top Italian flight.
No, I feel personally the championship will go to Milan, but not to Inter. It'll be to their neighbours, AC Milan.
So there we are, an early prediction from Trevor Francis. 2 minutes to go. Mind you, he's also tipped Sheffield Wednesday for the League Championship and the World Cup. He's shaking his head alongside me here. Nonetheless, Trevor, you've started very well, and you must be pretty happy with your first season up there at Hillsborough.
Yes, we're all quietly satisfied, but long way to go yet.
Well, there's not too long to go in this game. It's almost over, and it looks as if it's heading for a goalless draw. Unless something fairly dramatic happens right at the death. And you can see there from your pictures a lot of fans streaming out of the stadium. And no question at all that Coach Ranieri of Napoli will be the happier of the two men in charge. Into the last minute now then. Careca for Zola. Frantic clearance, only finds Blanc. Oh, Mateus now, streaming clear for Inter. He had Fontaine up in support, and Klinsmann was there. And all he's got out of it is a throw. And an injury too, by the look of things. Just holding the back of his leg. So let's hope that's not too serious. Up goes Klinsmann. Didn't quite fall though for Baggio.
I think Mateus got the same problem as what Bianchi had earlier. A hamstring strain.
Now here's Careca posting away for Napoli. Alamao and Cripper, the only players up with him. Cripper chasing. And that's steady defending then by Montanari, who can look back with some satisfaction on his first full game for Inter. Baggio in bravely. We're now into time added on for stoppages. De Napoli. And there is Mateus indeed receiving some attention for what may well be a hamstring injury. And this may well be Inter's last chance to win the game. Desideri is the player injured. Mateus still off the field. So it may be down to Bremer here. There's Mateus, I think, wanting to come back on. No, in fact, he's gone off. And at last, your friend Jochi's come on. A bit late now, Trevor.
Not if he heads this one in.
Right. So, without their organiser-in-chief. Inter have left the free kick, in fact, to Desideri. Almost falls for Fontelan. Corradini just making sure the ball arrives safely back in the arms of Gali. Shadu, no real chance though for Koreka. Bremer. Too easy though for Napoli. We've had 2 minutes of injury time. Now Cripper is onside from Zola's pass, and it needed a better service than that. Chachi. Desideri. And if he'd have found Klinsmann then, that could have been interesting. Still Inter pressing forward. Chachi having to chase this one. Fontelan. Forced out by Corradini, who commits the foul. Corradini continues to live dangerously right to the last, having had a yellow card already. Bremer now to whip one in. So often danger stems from his crosses. And Inter are hoping and praying he'll be on the mark again. No, they'll have to take that one again.
I think there'll be a substitution, Peter, any second now.
Yeah, here we are. Right on cue, Padovano is coming on, or will they let him come on? Cripper saying, look, we want to bring a sub on. Standard practice, this. And at last, Padovano makes his entrance. And Bremer will take the free kick. And well, the header from Bergami was way, way off target.
That surely must be the last chance for Inter. It wasn't a bad chance either. The marking there left a lot to be desired from the Napoli defence, allowing Bergami a good head of the ball. That sort of room in the dying seconds.
And it has indeed proved the last chance for Inter. So no goals in the San Siro, and overall a pretty disappointing match really. Inter certainly had chances to win it. In the second half, Berti and Mateus there, who, well, seems to be walking okay, so hopefully that injury isn't too bad. But Mateus, in a couple of cracking efforts in the first half, might have won it for Inter. Napoli didn't create too much, but there was that chance for Alamao, which was ruled out. Final score, Inter 0, Napoli 0.